version of Loss Prevention Texas, LP Tips -1. And this particular program that we're bringing you today is going to be talking about bounty hunting. Now, you may look at this and say, why, Mr. Simmons, we're talking about bounty hunting. Why are we looking at the Department of Public Safety website under private security? Well, we're looking at that because that is one of the 3 ways that you can become a bounty hunter. Actually, it's 2 of the 3 ways that you can become a bounty hunter in the state of Texas. One of the things that's important to understand is bounty hunting, or some people call it fugitive recovery. The state of Texas calls it bounty hunting. And you'll see that here in this information that I'm about to share with you. You have to have a license. You have to be licensed under one of 3 ways in the state of Texas to become a bounty hunter. Now, I know there's some people out there in different places. They have a bounty hunting school. There's only one problem with that. That doesn't assure that you're going to legally be able to do that, because in order to legally do that, that school may be fine. I don't know anything about it, but here's the thing. If you're not one of these 3 things, it doesn't matter what school you go to, you're not going to be legal as far as bounty hunting in the state of Texas. So we're in the Department of Public Safety, Private Security, Regulatory Services, and Private Security website. So let's scroll down a little bit and let's get to laws and regulations. And we're going to click on that. After we click on laws and regulations, we're going to scroll down here to summaries at the very bottom of that page. And we're going to get into this section on bounty hunting. So let's click on that and let's go straight. This law was made on March the 7th, 2022. That was an update. This is Administrative Rule 35.10, execution of a capious warrant. And again, that was updated, in fact, effective January the 10th, 2022. Still the same information that was there before. It's just been updated. And let's take a look at it. And then you're going to have to make a decision. Gee whiz, if I'm going to do this, did I get the right training to do this? Or were the people just filling me with fluff and taking my money? Okay, this was updated September the 1st, 2019. Like I said, there was law prior to that. This is Occupational Code 1702.3863, and it's called Unauthorized Contract with Bail Bond Surety. And it was amended by Senate Bill 616 by the 86th Legislative Section, September the 1st, 2019. And it's going to go straight into the law here. It says a person commits an offense if the person contracts with or is employed by a bail bond surety as defined by Chapter 1704 to secure the appearance of a person who has violated Section 3810 of the Penal Code, unless the person is. So the only way you can act as a bounty hunter is if you are, number 1, a peace officer. Number 2, an individual that's licensed as a private investigator. Or number 3, a commissioned security officer employed by a licensed guard company. So if you're not one of those 3 things, letter B says an offense under this section is a state jail felony. Okay, so if you're not a peace officer, you're not a police officer, a law enforcement officer in the state of Texas, or if you're not a private investigator, that means a licensed private investigator with your license with the state of Texas, you have your pocket card, and you're working for a private investigations company, or a commissioned security officer that at the time is employed by a licensed guard company, meaning that your guard company is going to make that contract and send you to go out there and act as a bounty hunter. If you're not one of those three things, you're committing a state jail felony. Now, that doesn't matter if you got a certificate from Billy Bob's bounty hunting training school or whoever. If you don't have that license by the state of Texas, either a peace officer license, a license licensing you as a private investigator, or a license you as a level 3 security officer, and you're not following those particular guidelines, that you're just committed a state jail felony. Now, there's some other things that, as a bounty hunter, if you're working if you're a private investigator or a commissioned security officer, anyone in the security field knows that you have the same authority as a private citizen. You're not a peace officer. So that's very important that you understand that when we get into these other situations. So a private investigator executing a capious warrant of arrest, and also this holds true for that level 3 security officer, says you may not enter a residence without consent of the occupants. That's real simple. You knock on the door. They may say, "Who is it?" You may say, "This is C.J. Simmons from Billy Bob's bail bond service," or however you're supposed to announce yourself. If you're a level 3 officer, you need to announce that you're a level 3 security officer. If they say, "Go away, get off my property," then you need to get off their property and go away. So you cannot enter a residence without consent of the occupants. The second thing, you cannot execute the capious or warrant without written authorization from the surety. Meaning they need to give you written authorization, that surety, that bail bond company, to execute that warrant, and then you need to have a copy of the warrant with you. You cannot wear, carry, or display any uniform, badge, shield, or other insignia or emblem that implies that the private investigator or that level 3 security officer is an employee, officer, or agent of the federal government, the state, or a political subdivision of the state. And then 9.51, notwithstanding section 9.51 of the Penal Code, use deadly force. Now, letter B, and we're going to talk about this real quick. And a private investigator who's executing a capious warrant or an arrest warrant on behalf of a bail bond surety shall immediately take the arrested person to, if the arrest is made in the county in which the capious or warrant was issued, the county jail for that county. The offense is a Class B misdemeanor or felony, or the offense is a Class C misdemeanor, and the capious or arrest warrant was issued by a magistrate of that county, or the municipal jail for the appropriate municipality if the offense is a Class C misdemeanor and the capious or warrant was issued by a magistrate for the municipality, or if the arrest was made in a county other than the county in which the KPS or warrant was issued, the county jail for that county, the person should be taken to the county jail for that county. You want to take them to if you're in the county where the warrant was issued, take them to that jail. If you're in another county, take them to the county where you made the arrest in, and then they're going to have to transfer them. There's going to be some paperwork involved to get them over to the correct place. Now, it says the commissioner shall revoke a person's license or security officer commission or deny a person's application for renewal of a license or security officer commission on proof that the person or agent of the person has, after the date of the application for a license or security commission, abducted or attempted to abduct by force or threat or by force by misrepresentation, stealth, or unlawful entry, a child who at the time of the induction or attempt is under the care and control of the person who has custody or physical possession of the child under a court order, or in exercising the care and control with the consent of the person who has custody or physical possession of the child under a court order. So if a person has a child and they're under a court order, and you as a security officer, level 3, or private investigator go in and try to take that child illegally, and notice they call it an abduction, then there's may be some additional charges filed also. So as we look at this thing, it's very clear. It's very clear. There are some things also on here that talk about that level 3 officer. That level 3 officer has to be in uniform, in his security uniform. And another part of that is this. The level 3 officer cannot say he is the police, because he's not. He has to be wearing that security uniform, which identifies him as a security officer. The whole uniform, not just a uniform shirt that's covered by something else. People need to be able to identify that person as a level 3 security officer. And he must be carrying that gun, that security officer, in plain view in his holster, just like if he would if he was in uniform. If he conceals that weapon, there's some other charges that may come out. Now, that private investigator, the private investigator cannot wear a uniform because there's no such thing as a private investigator uniform. Somebody tried to tell me that once, and I just came right out and told him, hey, yeah, you need to get yourself straight, because when you get arrested, nobody can help you. And I think that guy finally got himself straight. So as we look at this, we've talked about it a little while. It's very important. I can tell you this right now, as I'm sitting here, or you're listening to this, somewhere in the state of Texas, somebody is either making a mistake or they're planning to do something that's going to be a mistake, or they already made a mistake, they didn't get caught, and they think it's going to be all right to do what they're doing. I guess I'm saying all that to say this. Don't make the mistake. The information is right there. If you go into one of these schools for bounty hunters, make sure that if you're going, that either you are a private investigator, a level 3 security officer, or a law enforcement officer, Also verify that your company, or private investigation agent or your security company has approved what you're doing, because when something goes wrong, it's their insurance. And if their insurance doesn't cover you, you have none. And then it's all on you. So this is it, folks. In order to do those things, then you have to follow the rules. Speaking of the rules, let's hit them one more time and get the real skinny on them all. A private investigator or commissioned security officer executing a capias or arrest warrant on behalf of a bail bond surety may not enter a residence without consent of the occupants, may not fail to clearly identify themselves both orally and by displaying their pocket card as a private security officer or a private investigator as applicable, working on behalf of a bail bond surety. So you have to have that pocket card. When they ask you for identification, you must show it to them. I wouldn't hand it to them. If you hand it to them, you may not get it back, but you must show it to them and clearly identify yourself. You may not wear, carry, or display any apparel, uniform, shield, or other insignia or emblem that gives the impression that the private investigator or commissioned security officer is a peace officer. May not brandish, point, or exhibit or otherwise display a firearm at any time except as otherwise authorized by law or this chapter. May not execute the capias or warrant without written authorization from the surety, or number 6, again, notwithstanding section 9.51 of the penal code, use deadly force. Okay. So a lot of people have gotten into this thing. Well, I'm going to go out and do this bounty hunting thing, and I'm going to carry a long rifle, an AR, or something of that nature. Well, even for this, there's some laws that say what you can and cannot do. When we talk about rifles, this is still level 3 for private investigation. So here's a situation. All those private investigators, again, can't be in uniform, and they must carry that weapon concealed. So keep that in mind, you private investigators, if you're doing that. Now, those long rifles that everybody wants, I just saw on the internet the other day on Facebook, somebody was talking about long rifles that security ought to be allowed to carry them. Well, right now they're not, so you can't. And if you ask why can't you, I'm going to give you the simple answer. It's a law. And if you do it, you take the chance on going to jail and being taken up or put on charges filed. And here's a law that talks about that: carrying of rifles by commissioned security or personal protection officers. It says Texas Occupational Code 1702.168 requires that the department adopt rules establishing qualifications for individuals required to carry firearms as an aspect of their employment duties. The first one is that we want to look at is Title 37 of the Texas Administrative Code, TAC Part 1, Chapter 35.7, provides that a commissioned security officer and personal protection officers, that's level 3 and level 4, may only carry a firearm of a recognized category, and for which he or she has received approved training. There are currently only 3 categories recognized by the department. And if you took a level 3 class and you were paying attention, if you took a level 3 class and you were paying attention, you will know that the three categories are semi-automatic handguns, non-semi-automatic handguns, which are revolvers, NSA, and shotguns, STG. Currently, only handgun and shotgun qualification courses are provided, and that's the Texas Administrative Code, Part 1, 35.145, and 35.146. So you say, well, I want to carry a rifle and I think that I can do that. Well, no, you can't. And here's where it gets very specific. By the department rule, rifles are not, and notice it says not an authorized category of firearm. And notice it's in darker letters. I guess they could have underlined it, made the letters bigger, but folks, we're adults. By department rule, rifles are not an authorized category of firearm, nor is there an approved training curriculum for commissioned security and personal protection officers to become certified. Now, it's going to break it down for us a little bit. A lot of people don't understand things until it becomes financial. Normally when things become financial, then people start to look at them, and that's when they start jumping up and down. If you're talking about finances, people, their head goes, and this is one of the times your head needs to move. Individuals found in violation of carrying a rifle in the course of their duties may be subject to administrative fines up to $500 for the first offense, with subsequent offenses ranging in a fine of up to $1,000, suspension, or potentially revocation of their license. So I think maybe that should be pretty clear. Let me kind of help a little bit. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, I don't know what those other people are teaching. They're teaching the bail bondsman class or whatever the bounty hunter class or whatever it's called. But it doesn't matter what they're teaching. In order to do it, you have to be a peace officer, private investigator, or a level 3 security officer. Active license, with your license up to date. And if you're working for a company, or unless you have your own company, following your company policy, because if anything goes wrong, they're the ones that are going to have to insure you. And if somebody comes up and says, you can get your own insurance, no. I'm not going to say that they're lying to you. I'm just going to say they're a little bit mistaken. So let's put it to you this way. Hey, I just gave you the information. It came right off the DPS website. If you want to spend some time behind bars or take some money out of your pocket and give it to the state of Texas, or possibly get sued by someone, then there's your option, all those things. Or you can do it the right way and you don't have any problem. Don't take the chance. Don't take the chance. Again, my grandmother used to say to me, Clarence, do it right or don't do it at all. This is Clarence Simmons, Loss Prevention, Texas, reminding you to do it right or don't do it at all. Thank you and have a good day.